Now let's get back to this. I call him Franken monster. Okay.
Right.
How do you get around that? Let's assume this is suppressed. Michael Bryant's question.
Right.
Get around it. Talk to me of how you get around it. What's the inevitable document discovery or a geolocation or cell towers that you can, because you know the husband's a suspect, right?
Right.
And you can talk to the children. Buchanan, somehow Buchanan talking to a 6-year-old with a forensic interview is beyond me, but I'm going to pass that for the moment. Okay. Tell me how you get around it.
Well, I think the only other way, or one of the ways I always believe in looking at the financial footprint, find out where he went, where did he spend money? Did he go to a gas station? Do you see him moving somewhere in a location near these dumpsters? Is he going to buy supplies where you can see it on a card, or did he take a cash withdrawal right before a purchase? Can you find it, basically go back and look at videotape where you see the car moving from block to block to block, things of that nature. Other than that, I think it's going to be very, very difficult, however, because they did know where he went based on his geolocation data.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's focus on one specific piece of evidence, the Home Depot video, right? He buys 4. I mean, this is such a cliche. It's usually Walmart, but Home Depot as well. That's where you go to get your cleaning supplies after you've killed and cut somebody up. So he goes and spends $450 on cleaning supplies. I remember just the other day that it was only $400 to get cleaning supplies to mop up a murder, but now $450. So he goes there. That, you could argue, they only knew to search that location because of the geolocation information. On the other hand, a normal canvas might also pick that up, right?
Normal, but it depends how far that Home Depot was from his location.
Okay, fair enough.
But clearly buying all those items, it's just a matter of, if you don't have that video from Home Depot, did they find a receipt? Was there anything that they can get some other way through a subpoena to Home Depot? Although they know that it's after the fact, so they would know he went there.
Yeah, and see, that's the dicey part for the court. The court has to decide, did they know that only as a result of the allegedly illegal search, or was it part of their normal process, which is back again to my inevitable discovery analysis. That is a dicey situation for the court, and I think that's where it comes down to which way the court's more likely to lean, because I think they could find a way to get there that supports suppression or inclusion.
Well, let me ask you this, Jodene. Put this in the hopper and then go with Michael. They're allowed to interview his mother. He went to see his mother, right? And there's a dumpster there. They're allowed to interview, I guess, the kids as to what they saw. It doesn't matter whether there's a warrant or not. Is the information they get from the mother or the kids, are they then able to determine, oh, we could look in that dumpster, or we could look around the area of Home Depot where, the kid was taken for an ice cream shop, to get ice cream?
I would think so, because that's independent of those phones. Those were separate discussions. I think with the child, the thing that concerned me is the fact that Yuri Buchanan started questioning that child, and he doesn't have the proper forensic qualifications to do that.
They may have similar mental abilities, but you're right. Yeah.
No, the kid's much brighter. Let's face it.
That's right.
Right.
Sorry, that was an insult to the 6-year-old. Sorry.
So, and I don't know if they could have gotten any sort of separate search warrant for his vehicle to get any sort of telematics from that vehicle and then get geolocation that way.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting.
Or if he did have any sort of, let's say he had his cell phones with him, did he connect to any other Wi-Fi when he went to a business or anything like that? Can you see a connection that way where you simply subpoena or get a search warrant for the Wi-Fi of a particular business to show, yes, he was there, and then look for purchase records that way? But I do think the telematics might be an option, but it's tough. And also when you mentioned, who owns that iPad of the child,
right? Of the child,
that was my mother's name. And I was surprised too that there wasn't a search warrant right away for her bank records or subpoenas for her financials, because if a person goes missing, you not only want to track their phone, but you want to track, are they spending money anywhere? Can I find them that way? And I haven't seen anything indicating that they did any investigation in that avenue as far as looking into her accounts and everything. So I don't know. I think they went in thinking he's our guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to take the phone and they were going to take a look at it, and they just didn't cross their T's and didn't dot their I's.
Just brutal. The only thing they didn't do was look for nudes. They didn't.
That we know of.
About that.
That we know of, right?
That we know. So let me ask you this: is this an all or nothing proposition? Do you think? Is there a way to dice this up? You think it's all or nothing? Okay.
I really do think so. And again, I think they really messed up going the consent route on this. I would have just gotten a search warrant. They knew the fact that he had a 4-day jump or a head start, essentially. They knew, based on what they saw on that phone, that he started searching those internet searches at 4 a.m. She was last seen around 1 a.m. It sounds like that something happened in that time window.
Yeah. What about the cell phone towers? What if you took all this? I don't know how many there are. Usually there's a plot of how many there are.
Right.
I don't know, around Cohasset. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who owns them? Whether it's what carrier? What if he took all the cell phone towers, let's say,
and mapped it
and amassed it and see, because his numbers. Numbers not private, right?
Well, right. And that is something they could do. And Michael Easter could probably explain this better than me. I know just enough to be dangerous. But essentially, you can triangulate and you can find, okay, if you have a phone in a particular location, you want to find what's the strength of that signal to tower A, to tower B, to tower C. And then they can triangulate the strength of that signal and get it down to about, I think it's about 300 feet or so within where that person is.
Okay, so let me add to that before you go on. Then you do that, you take all the cell phone towers and you see whether or not his number hit on any of the towers.
Right. And I also wonder, where's the probation agent he was on a bracelet.
That's right. Yeah, we can't forget that he had already been convicted of this art fraud. And so to Linda's point earlier, how, if at all, does that factor into any consent or the reach of any search they did? Is it a non-factor?
I don't think it's a factor because I had people on bracelets. I think the fact that he was allegedly concerned about the privileged information, I think that almost goes in his favor. The fact that he expressed that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think about that there'd be privileged information with regard to the art fraud and his attorney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, I always found sometimes that's the crimes we know about. He may have been doing other crimes that we don't know about with, finances or other sorts of scams and things like that. Yeah. So, I consider that as well.
Hey, I'll ask this question because you lived in Pittsburgh for a while, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously the Andy Warhol Museum is there. Did you ever go?
Excellent.
It's amazing. I've been there a few times. It's amazing. I've never seen the artwork that he made up. Because I'd never seen it before. Everyone knows the Campbell soup cans and some of the other stuff. I have a T-shirt that I got there, and it just says in script writing, "Little Joe." I don't know what it means, why it's art, but I bought the T-shirt. So, this is very interesting kind of art. Why do you think, the criminal mind, why would he pick that kind of art to try to defraud the public?
Well, there is a market for it. That's the thing.
You think is it easier because it's this kind of more abstract stuff?
It possibly could be. I think, quite honestly, with the way things can be photoshopped now and digitized and everything, it's not super difficult to make knockoffs. But I think, quite frankly, a schemer's going to find a way to scheme. and they're going to find the easiest way to do it. And so if that's easier to do than a Monet, he's going to pick an Andy Warhol.
There you go.